Hi, Elite Families. We're going to read Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Yeah, ready? In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of...
Goodnight Moon. Goodnight Moon.
Not yet. The cow jumping over the moon, and there were 3 little bears sitting in a chair. Yeah.
Bears. So guys, this is so cute with our baby sister here.
And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse.
That rhymes, guys.
And a comb and a brush and a bowl of mush. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light in the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Ow. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Say good night.
Wait, should I say the title of this book?
I'm going to read that one too?
Yeah.
Okay.
The story is called Howarth.
A friend-filled story about caring and sharing. This is Bear. Bear likes hiking, hugs, and honey. Here's the remote. Can you get the remote, please? This is Bear. Bear likes hiking, hugs, and honey. One day, Bear decided to go for a walk in the woods to find some yummy honey. Before her adventure began, she packed her bag with all the things she might need. As Bear put on her bag, Mom said, first things first, you need a hug, a fuzzy wuzzy bear hug before you go. And she gave her little bear a big squeeze. Mom watched as Bear stepped onto the trail for her walk.
This book is going far good.
Walking down the trail, Bear saw Squirrel. He looked sad. What's wrong, Squirrel? Asked Bear. I dropped my acorn down a hole and I can't reach it, said Squirrel.
That's what happens.
First things first, you need a hug, a nutty buddy hug. Bear gave Squirrel a big squeeze. Bear pulled 2 acorns out from her bag and gave them to Squirrel. Squirrel was very happy with her acorns, so Bear continued on her way. As the Berry Patch Bear saw Raccoon, she looked sad. What's wrong, Raccoon? Asked Bear. I scratched my paw picking berries, said Raccoon. First things first, you need a hug, a merry berry hug. Bear gave Raccoon a big squeeze. Bear pulled a bandage out of her bag and helped put it on Raccoon's scratched paw. Raccoon felt much better, so Bear continued on her walk. At the river, Bear saw a beaver. He looked sad. "What's wrong, Beaver?" asked Bear. "I have a sliver in my tail," said Beaver. First things first, you need a hug, a wet wiggly hug. Bear gave Beaver a big squeeze. Bear found tweezers inside her bag and pulled out the sliver. Beaver smiled and his tail felt much better, so Bear continued down the trail. At the pond, Bear saw Skunk, and she looked sad. "What's wrong, Skunk?" asked Bear. "Everyone thinks I smell," said Skunk. "First things first, you need a hug, a smelly belly hug." Bear gave Skunk a big squeeze and pulled some nice smelling soap out of her bag. Skunk had a bubbly bath in the pond and smelled lovely, so Bear continued on her walk. Bear climbed the tallest tree to search for honey. At the top, she saw Owl. "I can't find my nest," said Owl. "First things first, you need a hug. Fluffy, feathery hug," said Bear. Bear gave Owl a big squeeze. Bear pulled binoculars out of her bag and searched through the woods. She found Owl's nest in a meadow right next to honey. Owl was happy to have found her home. Bear ran towards the honey with Owl close behind. In the meadow, Bear found the honey. It was golden honey that dripped right into her mouth. Yummy, yum. Wow. Uh-oh, a honeybee landed on the tip of Bear's nose and stung her. "Ouch, that hurts," yelped Bear. Bear started to cry. Her nose hurt and she felt all alone. Then she heard some familiar sounds. It was her friends. "What's wrong, Bear?" they asked. "A bee stung my nose," said Bear. "First things first," they all said. "You need a hug, a fuzzy wuzzy hug." Bear's friends gave her a big squeeze and she felt much better. Bear had a fun day hiking through the forest in search of honey. Along the way, she learned that being a friend and having friends are wonderful things.
So nice.
That was nice, right?
The end.
The end. Have a good night.
Have a good night, boys and girls. See you tomorrow.
Briella, say bye.
Bye. Bye. She loves you guys. Whoever watching us.
All the dancers.
Oh, great thumbs up.